Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about the new Icon Composer app by Apple, and this was released at WWDC25 for iOS, macOS, and watchOS app icons, and the app is available on macOS 26 Tahoe. So what you need is the app and your icon. So when I talk about the icon, it should have a transparent background and you can have many layers. So the idea of using the icon composer is that it composes your app, so you have a background and then you apply some effects on it called the liquid glass design, where the glass reflects. I will show you in a while on how it looks, and you will have multiple layers based on how complex your app icon is. So we are going to work on a completely new project. This is how a finished project would look like. This is an app that I shipped to test flight yesterday called as Foundation Lab, which is everything about the foundation models framework. So first we go to file and then create a new project. In this project, I have a background where if I go on the right, I can have the color as gradient or solid or system light or system dark if you prefer that way. I would want a gradient color, and I usually prefer a black gradient or not, this is too black, so I will go with, let's say, a purple one and something that's a bit more. I would still want it purplish, but I want it much darker. So okay, this one is nice. And I will keep the first one as automatic. Then the second thing we have is this dial on the top where you can just rotate it to understand where the light can reflect from. I prefer it around 150 degrees. I will be a perfectionist and try to have it at 150. And then you have the zoom option. You can also use your mouse to zoom in and zoom out. So once you have your icon or the background ready, you can go to the bottom left and then click on images to export the images. I already have an image ready that I will use. So this is the image that I would want to use. It is for it's not a music app, it is for a voice app where you can just use your voice to create calendar and reminders, something that the basic Siri should do every single time, but it fails to do so as of now. So we have the image, and on this image you can see on the top right you have a group and then you have the image. So on the group if you go to the top to the right sidebar, you have the opacity. So if I do 25, you can see how the opacity changes of the image. Then you have different blend modes. On like the darken will kind of just go into the background itself. Then you have lighten, screen, plus lighter, and I like screen, and overlay is too much, so I will just prefer a normal for now. Then you have the mode of liquid glass, so you either have individual and combined. This makes more sense when you have different layers, so you can either apply it to the individual items or the individual layers or on the whole combined group. For us it's the same because we only have one image. Then you have specular, so like if I try to zoom in and you will see the difference. You have kind of a specular design. I actually don't know what it means. I should have done my research from the WWDC session, but from what I understand, it adds kind of a depth to the image. Like when I have a normal image, you see it's kind of a 2D image, but when you have the specular design, you can see that there are depths or grooves inside the boundary or the borders of my icon. And then you have the blur effect on this. I do not see much difference when I do the blur. So let's say if I do 100, it's kind of the same. The translucency makes a difference. If I go it to 1,000, you can see how much different it looks. But I feel it's not popping as much as I want it to, so I will go to 50. Then you have the shadow. So if I go and do 0 shadow, you can see how much the shadow makes a difference. So I will keep it the default of 50. And then you have visible or non-visible. This is mostly when you're trying out to understand how the different layers will look like. Another thing is on the top where you have an option to have the grid for concentric circles. I would want my icon to be of the same size as the outer concentric one. So under layout, I will have so you can use the X value and the Y value to move it. For my icon, it is exactly in the middle, so I do not have to do anything about it. What I want to do is increase the size of the image. So 120 is too much. I will go for 115, which kind of perfectly fits the concentric circle. And when I remove the grid that they provide, it's much more nicer. Yeah, the icon looks much more nicer. Okay. So another thing is I feel like the image or the color that I chose does not feel nice with the background that I have. So I'll go back to my background and only have let's say a solid color. Yeah, this is much nicer. And even if I go with the gradient, let's go with something that is bluish. Okay, this is too blue. Let's see if I can make it much darker blue. Yeah, this is nicer. And then for the automatic color, I would want to go with something that's a teal blue. Okay, I would want something that is more darker. So let's see. Oh, this is much more nicer. Yeah, this is greenish on the top, and then I will just keep the blue as it is, but make it more dark and make the blue more darker. Yeah, and in the green one, I will want to make it less green and more blue. I would prefer this black one. Yeah, I'm kind of happy. I would wish there was there's an option to switch as well. Yeah, so I'm more happy now. Yeah, so this is how my icon looks like. You can see when I'm changing the angle, it changes as well. So now with my image, I think still this one, like 55 degrees, is nicer. Another thing is that you can test it on different backgrounds to see how it will look. And if you go on the bottom bar, you have the default, you have a black version, and you also have a mono version of the image. So when you have a green background, it will take a bit of the green color because that's the design is glass, so it will have the color from the background. The best part of having this monochromatic design is that you can see how it will look on a background wallpaper, and you can also provide your own. So if I have like this is how it will look on a default one when I have my own colors. But if somebody wants to have that clear tint glass, this is how my app icon will look like. And if you want to have your own images, I was trying it with my own image, so you can see how my head is kind of mirrored because of the liquid glass design. So this is how you can play with different colors or backgrounds to understand how your design will look like in the mono mode. You also have an option to change the tint. This is something I learned while doing the video right now. So that's a cool thing about recording videos like this. So this is my final app icon that I'm very happy with. And on watchOS, this is how it will look like, which is also pretty cool. So once you're happy with your app icon, the next thing to do is export it. And the app icon now will replace the app icon or the asset that we used to do with the .icon file that this one will have. So if I just save it, I will call it the name of the app, which is murmer.icon. And the next part is in what do you have, your Xcode. You will go and add files to the folder itself, which will be the file itself. So I will have the Murmer icon, and then I will add it to the target of Murmer. Now when I try to build the app, it should have the icon. And then even when you open Murmer, you can see your icon, and then directly open it into the app Icon Composer. So let's try to build the app on the iPhone 16 simulator to see if we can actually get that icon. And you can see that now we have the app icon, And with that, we have the app icon ready, and this is something that you can directly use to send and archive the app and then send it to test flight. And I have tried it yesterday and it is working pretty fine. So with that, that's a conclusion on the video on working with Icon Composer, and I hope you found some value in understanding how this works, the basics of it, and it creates some beautiful apps for the iOS 26, macOS 26, and watchOS 26. Thank you.